Story is called Pitfalls.
Nice.
I'm wearing a red t-shirt in public. I know that means nothing to you, but to me it's a coup d'etat. For the better part of 10 years I've dressed mostly in black. Not out of choice, but out of necessity. I have sweaty pits, you see, and black is the only color that keeps a lid on them. Since the onset of the condition in my early 20s, I've tried everything to tackle it, from supercharged antiperspirants to Botox, right down to jimmy-rigging Depends into my pits with an ace bandage. Like I said, everything. Botox was the only strategy that worked, and for that year until the magical potion/poison wore off, I enjoyed fashion freedom. But unable to afford an annual Botox habit, I was forced back to black. And ever since, I've been hoping for an affordable, lasting solution. That day has arrived. For the first time in 7 years, the FDA has approved a new treatment for axillary hyperhidrosis. The mirror-dry procedure delivers electromagnetic energy to the lower dermis, where the sweat glands reside. In a process called thermolysis, the microwaves destroy the glands. And since they don't regenerate after treatment, mirror-dry is thought to offer a permanent solution. At $2,000 per session, the price tag is right around $2,000 beyond my budget, especially since some patients need to return for a second treatment. But since mirror-dry is so new, I find a skin center that's offering a $1,000 promo rate. I borrow the money and take the plunge. It's not until I review the consent forms and learn that the side effects include the alarmingly vague burning and infection that doubt slinks in. During my consultation with Becky, my mirror-dry certified nurse practitioner, she warns me that one of the clinic's 6 patients had complications. The heat injured her brachial plexus, and a month later she still has numbness in 2 of her fingers. She assures me that's very rare. Though when I crunch the numbers, it would seem as though I have a 17% chance of being unable to even type a bad word about the experience. What about cancer, I say? My friends all seem to think I'm going to die of armpit cancer. Her response is a little frank for my tastes. She doesn't know. The treatment hasn't been around long enough to make that determination. Gulp. Still, I proceed. The next step is to shave my pits. Becky offers me a disposable razor, and I think, seriously, have you seen my armpits? There's enough hair in there to stuff a comforter. This could take weeks. Luckily, I have a beard trimmer in my car. With my underarms smooth to the touch and creepy to the eyes, Becky marks up the sweat zone with the help of a sizing template. You have the biggest armpits I've ever seen, she marvels. Far from being a compliment, it's meant as a forewarning that I'll need significantly more injections to get numb. Whereas the average patient might receive 30 shots of lidocaine under each arm, I need 61. If this sounds shitty, that's because it is. The first shot feels like a bee sting, and I'm not exactly giggling through the next 121. Prepped and numb, it's time to begin. Becky readies the mirror-dry machine, which looks a bit like a desktop tower on wheels, with a monitor fastened to the top and a power cord running to a showerhead-shaped handpiece. The design screams prototype. But hey, so long as it works, right? With the help of a map on the monitor, Becky aligns the handpiece with hash marks on my skin, pulls the trigger, and I feel nothing. I do, however, hear what sounds like Enya emanating from the base station. It's designed to help patients relax. And while I'm not sure if it's relaxing or ridiculous, I'm relieved the procedure is painless. Becky systematically traverses my underarm, zapping 39 different sites. Each site treatment lasts 40 seconds, the first 15 of which are devoted to the atomic assault on my axilla, before a cooling plate chills my skin for the next 25. And just to be clear, New Age music plays for the full 40 seconds. While Becky treats my left armpit, a registered nurse named Linda numbs my right one. Treatment goes smoothly in my left pit, and we're on to the other. Linda operates the device this time, and here is where it becomes a tale of two pits. The first dozen sites are painless, like before, but as Linda reaches the midway point, the burning sensation begins. At first, it's only a quick flash of fire, but as she progresses, it feels like she's holding a blowtorch to my skin. And since I've never been one to confront so much as a splinter with a modicum of dignity, I'm writhing in agony. "Are you sure you numbed it?" Linda nods, and then Becky, without warning, jabs a needle into my armpit. "Did you feel that?" she asks. "Yes!" Linda numbs the area again. I start to question her qualifications. "So, how many patients have you treated?" "You're the first." Of course I think she's kidding. She's not. "Seriously, you've never pulled that trigger before today, like right now?" "Nope." "Maybe Becky should finish," I suggest. Apparently they think I'm kidding because that goes nowhere. Linda continues, and I don't know if it's because I'm her first patient or if there's something physiologically different about this armpit, but despite the added lidocaine, it feels as if she's welding something in there, and the Enya isn't helping. When my whining hits a crescendo, Becky suggests they stop. There's only a few more sites left, but I insist that they continue. I don't want to leave any sweat glands behind, and I certainly don't want to come back ever. So I summon my allotted morsel of machismo and muscle through. Afterwards, I'm instructed to ice my underarms for a few days, which is a no-brainer. The following morning, they are throbbing with hickeys and bruises and lumps so large it looks like testicles have been fused into my axilla. But while my pits may be traumatized, the one thing they're not is wet. It worked. In fact, it worked so well that after a hike, my whole shirt, except for my underarms, was wet. Unbelievable. It's been 10 days. The hickeys have faded. The lumps have mostly receded. My hair is growing back. And despite a persistent dull pain, not cancer, not cancer, not cancer, I'm thrilled with the results. I'm gallivanting around town in a revealing red shirt that I wouldn't have dared wearing 2 weeks ago, much less, for the past decade. But just as I'm relishing my newfound fashion freedom, it happens. I wave to a friend, extending my freshly nuked arm with a George Clooney confidence. My wife points at my shirt, her face one part shock, one part, "Oh, you poor thing." I don't even have to look, I feel it now, but I look anyway. Sure enough, 2 sweat stains are forming, gleefully mocking my bank account, this article, my very existence. It's less than before, but still, there they are. I'm devastated. Did the ladies just miss a few spots? Am I some sort of sweat freak? Am I hyper-hydraulically doomed? Do I have to go back? Can I possibly? Is this really happening? Thank you.